Okay, so we all know the big names, right? The Harvards, the Stanfords, the Oxfords, they're always at the top of the university rankings. But have you ever stopped to think what's really going on behind the scenes? What's the secret sauce that keeps them up there? Well, it turns out there's this one huge factor, something that's often completely overlooked, that really powers these academic giants. And today, we're going to pull back the curtain and show you exactly what it is. So, it all kicks off with this puzzle. You've got these incredible universities, right? Places that are famous for pumping out some of the most brilliant, world-class graduates on the planet. And yet, they consistently seem to underperform in those big global rankings. Why is that? The answer is, well, it's probably not what you're thinking, and it tells us a lot about what these rankings actually care about.
Right, so to figure this all out, we need to get into the weeds of what these prestigious rankings are really measuring. Think of it like a game. It's got its own set of rules, and as you'll see, not everyone is playing the same game.
And here's our first big clue. Most of us, we assume it's all about the undergrads. We think a top university is defined by how amazing its undergraduate program is, and how brilliant those students are. But when it comes to these global rankings, that's actually just a tiny piece of the puzzle. Okay, so if it's not really about the undergrads, then what is it about? Let's go meet the real engine room, the power source that's humming away in the basement, driving a university's entire global reputation. It's the PhD students. Simple as that. These individuals are the absolute backbone of a university's entire research operation. I mean, think about it. They are the main workforce, the people on the ground whose entire job is to generate new knowledge. They're the hands, and a lot of the time, they're the brains behind the big breakthroughs we hear about. And you really can't just think of them as students. That doesn't do it justice. They're basically professional researchers in training. They're the ones in the lab running the experiments, they're the ones writing a ton of those peer-reviewed papers, and they provide that crucial manpower for those huge faculty-led projects that end up leading to massive innovations. Okay, so PhD students do all this research. Got it. But why is that so important? Why does it matter this much? Well, to connect those dots, we've got to take a peek at the score sheet for this whole ranking game. And this is where it all just clicks. The big ranking systems, the QS World Rankings, Times Higher Education, they dedicate a massive chunk. We're talking about half of their entire score just to research output. It's not just another factor they consider, it is literally the main event. So what do they even mean by research? Well, it's all about things you can count, measurable impact. They're literally counting the sheer number of papers getting published. They're tracking how many times other researchers around the world cite those papers. They look at how much research money a university is pulling in, and this is a big one. It's academic reputation, which, guess what? It's pretty much built entirely on how influential its research is. So, all of this brings us to the core idea of this whole explainer. Once you really grasp how important research is, and you see the role that PhD students play, you can start to see this incredible chain reaction, a kind of domino effect that gets set in motion. And it really is like a set of dominoes. Check this out. Step 1, you have fewer PhD students. That means you have less manpower, fewer people to actually do the research. Step 2, that leads directly to fewer research papers getting published. Step 3, fewer papers out there means fewer chances to get cited by people around the world, which kills your global visibility. And the final domino to fall? Boom, a lower ranking score. It's a straight line, a direct cause and effect. Now, that all sounds good in theory, right? But the actual numbers, man, the data makes this crystal clear. Let's just look at a quick real-world comparison to see exactly how this plays out. And for a lot of people, this right here is the big aha moment. Just look at the difference between a top-ranked place like Stanford and another brilliant university, but one that's more focused on teaching, like IIT Bombay. Stanford's entire structure is built for research. It has almost twice as many graduate students as it does undergrads. Then you look at IIT Bombay, and that whole ratio is flipped on its head. The focus there is squarely on its much larger undergraduate population. What you're really seeing are two totally different philosophies, two different university identities. On one side, you've got the research-driven places where having a massive grad student population is a giant sign that says, our main mission is creating new knowledge. And on the other side, you have these teaching-centric institutions that are all about delivering a world-class education to their undergrads. And the way the global rankings are set up right now, they heavily reward that first model. But, this isn't just about counting papers and citations. It goes way beyond that.
The size of that research engine has some really profound effects on what a university is even capable of doing and where it stands in the world.
I mean, think about it. If you have a smaller PhD program, you just don't have the people to cover as many cutting-edge fields. You've got less bandwidth to do a really deep dive into something like, say, AI ethics or quantum computing. That in turn leads to fewer collaborations with international partners, which dings your reputation. And at the end of the day, it just means fewer patents and fewer of those big, headline-grabbing breakthroughs. And this quote really just nails it, doesn't it? It's a fundamental truth of the academic world. The vast majority of the stuff that these rankings actually measure, the papers, the citations, it all comes directly from the hard work and research done by PhD students. So let's just wrap this all up. The formula for these rankings becomes pretty darn clear. It's a straight line. It starts with having fewer PhD students, which means less manpower for research, which means fewer publications and citations, which means less international collaboration and less innovation. And what's the end result of all that? A lower global ranking. It's that simple.
And that leaves us with one last big question. It really makes you think about what a university is even for. Should these amazing institutions change who they are just to chase a better spot on the rankings list? Or should they just focus on being the absolute best at whatever their chosen mission is, whether that's incredible teaching or game-changing research? There's no easy answer here. And that debate, well, it's right at the very heart of higher education today.